Hello and welcome to Bella's Crafty Cards. I'm Bella and today's video is going to be done in two halves because for the card that I want to make it's going to be using a stamped image, and to use this stamp image we're going to be colouring in with our Copic markers. Now when you're colouring with your Copics or your Pro markers, it does take quite a while to get the right effect, so that's why we're going to do it in two halves. So let's get started. So I've chosen my image, and it is actually it's from Do Crafts, and I'm going to do this one here, which is the teddy bear costume with the balloon. Okay, I've got my white cardstock and I've got my stamped image on my block, and I'm using Memento ink. Now you have to use Memento ink when colouring with alcohol based inks because the ink doesn't run. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp this up. Make sure you get an even coverage all the way around. Lift it up if you wish, just to double check. And then stamp it onto your cardstock, like so. There we go. There we have now our stamped image. Okay, now the colour that I'm going to be using to colour in my bear is, I'm only going to do it in one colour. I'm going to show you how you can build up your colour to give it a shadow effect using only one of your colours. Okay, and the colour is E43, which is a dull ivory. Okay, and I'm going to use the brush side of my Copic. Okay, so all I'm going to do to start with is just going to colour the whole entire bear image in. Besides his nose, which I'm going to do in a different colour, and the inside of his ears. Now remembering, when you are using your Copics or your Pro markers, that don't go all the way to the edge because they do bleed out when they're settling. Don't forget the inside of his hat. And carry on. Now don't forget, all you're doing at the moment is just layering one base colour on. Just take your time with this, and then you're not going to put the wrong coloured ink of your pen where you don't want it. like so. So there we have now him all coloured in one colour. Now this is the part where you've got to decide where your light is and where it's going to be darker and lighter on your picture. And I think I'm going to have the light coming from this side of it. Okay, so I'm going to just go back over just this section here where I know there's going to be some shadow off the balloon, and all I'm doing is just going to keep going over it in light motions until you can see that it is darker. If I just hold that up, you can actually see that this section is now darker than the rest. So you're going to carry on doing that now, putting shadow the dark sections where you think it would be. So there would be some underneath the shadow of his head. There'll be some down here, the shadow of his arm. Let's go back over that, make it a little bit darker. Okay, there's going to be a little bit of shadow here on his leg because of obviously where his arm's resting on his leg. A little bit down here, I would have a little zoom, so a little bit here. Now you tend to put shadows where things touch or get hidden, okay? So that's going to be hidden because that's just underneath the teddy's head, like so. And I think we'll do this here because it's hidden by the balloon. Okay, now once you've got your rough areas where your shadow would be, you're going to keep going over them. Like so. Just to make them as dark as you can using the same colour as you've done the rest of the bearing. Okay, and as you can now tell if I lift it up, that there's a lot of dark shadows where it would be. Now all I'm going to now do is I'm going to colour in the whole image again. Okay, like so, all the way around. Even over where you've gone over with it darker, you're still going to do same again. Doesn't need to be perfect because it does give it like a depth colour, you know, a changing of different colour. Just going to carry on over. Do his leg. Like so. And now, if you can tell, where you've done your shadowing section, once you've done that, you can see that there is like a harsh line between the shadow and the light sections. So all you're going to do is just going to get your Copic and you're just going to go over that edge just to soften it out a touch. Like so, and there you have it. There's now your teddy bear coloured all in one colour with lots of shadow depth. I'm now going to get RV10, which is pale pink, and I'm going to colour in the other sections of the bear. Okay, so like we did before, we're just going to colour the whole thing in. like so. If you want to put a little bit of shadow in, you can. You're just going to follow where your other shadow was. So there'll be a little bit there, a little bit on the top of his nose, and this whole entire ear section, possibly a little bit down here, like so. And then you're just going to leave that for a second, because there's not so much of the pink, and then you're just going to do the whole thing again, like so. And there you have now your bear coloured in. Okay? Now to colour the little boy's face in, I have actually got two colours here. I've got E51, which is the milky white, and E93, which is the tea rose. I'm going to use the tea rose to do the shadow of the face. So first things first, I'm going to colour in the face with my milky white, which is my E51. Like so. I'm then going to pick up my E93, which is my tea rose. Again, I'm continuously using the brush tip end, and I'm just going to do a little bit of shadow line just under where his hair would be. Only a little bit because he's only got a small face, and just onto the cheeks, and just a little bit on the chin. And then I'm going to go back over my E51 and blend all of that in. Like so. Which now gives him a nice skin colour with just a touch of pink. Now to do his hair, this is going to be for my grandson who has blonde hair. I'm going to use two colours, which is Y06 and Y21. Y21's buttercup yellow and Y06 is yellow. Now you'd think two shades are actually quite different, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour the hair first in the Y06, which is the yellow, and then I'm going to do the Y21 for the shadowing section. Okay, and then I'm going to go back over it with the Y06, like so. And that's his hair done. Now to do the balloon, I'm going to do it in one colour but with a blender pen. Okay, I'm going to be using B29. Okay, and I'm just going to colour the whole of the balloon in that, which is a very bright and vivid blue. And then with my blender pen, now a lot of people are frightened of blender pens. You can either use them direct pen to pen, or all I'm going to do is where the light is hitting, like we said, the light's going to be hitting this side, so I'm just going to go over it like so, just to make it a little bit lighter. You keep doing that until you've got your desired colour. I'm just going to leave a little bit darker on one side, like so. And because I have ink now on the end of my pen, all I'm going to do is just rub it out till it comes out, like so. It's now clear again. Okay, and there you have now your stamped image and coloured in. All I'm going to do now is cut that out and I'll be back with you.